our expectations, because my expectation is if you went above and beyond to send me your digital portfolio, I'm going to be wowed. So it's all about meeting those expectations of your employer. Also make sure that you're following those instructions. You know, a great example of ours is that we had that open position, and those instructions were resume, cover letter, references. We had 75 applicants, 25 filled out an application for employment. That's all they did. They didn't send in a resume, references, or cover letter. So anybody guess what happened to those 25? Trash. It was easy enough. Weeded them right out. And the funny thing was, I knew a couple of them from the community. It was absolutely shocked they couldn't follow instructions. But I sure as heck wasn't going to pick up the phone and say, hey, do the rest of your work. So make sure you're meeting those expectations. You know, me as an employer, I view that as your very first test. I view it as that you can follow instructions for as simple as following the application, then you can probably follow instructions that I send you. So make sure you really are following, because those details matter so much. Again, talking about just attitude and talking about things. A great example I heard from an area employer, they were talking about internships, and they were talking about that they had a student that they knew, the student knew there was no open positions at their company. They didn't have anything available. You know, that student knew that they were working just for experience. And they had 2 of them that were interns that semester. They had one that just put her head down, was getting the experience, worked her butt off, did great. Had another one that griped and graged the whole time, this was leading nowhere, it was a total waste of her time. So we both know, neither one of them, there was no openings in that company as they went through. Well, guess what? That company made an opening for the one that put their head down and worked really hard. And the other, they just passed up. So again, like I said, make sure, you just never know where it'll lead you. You never know what's said, you never know who's talking to each other as they go through. What are some others? Any questions or anything like that with jobs?
How important is networking?
And networking is huge. I'm glad you talked about that. Networking is something that, as a college student, I will be perfectly, honest with. I never understood the importance with it. But when it comes to networking, it's all about who you know and who they know. Because I can tell you, as I go through resumes or other people go through resumes, I get calls all the time that'll say, hey, I've got a resume for a student there, XYZ. You know, can you tell me anything about them? Well, guess what? If I can say, yeah, you know, they came to this event, came to that event, they've been here working, they seem like a really good kid. They usually get an interview, or the same. You know, they call anybody that they call, because as employers, we're looking for any under-the-table information that we can get, to be perfectly honest. Because you're going to give us references, you're going to give us letters of recommendation, and of course those are all people who are going to talk nice about you. You know, but really we're going to use our network to find out how hard you've really worked. We're going to find out if you've been going to class, if you've been doing your assignments, if you work really hard, if you go above and beyond, if your attitude that I'm seeing is for real, or if you're just putting on a mask while I'm around you. So that network is huge, and there's so many opportunities to network. You know, we have the week before our career fair every week. We have career prep events that we do. Last semester we had presenters that came in from all kinds of different employers, from financial advisors to accountants. We had one of the vice presidents from Leggett & Platt came in for us, one of the vice presidents from Freeman Hospital. They came in to present. They came in to give their advice and give their information. And you may think, so what, I'm going to talk to this person for 5 minutes. They're not going to remember me. You bet your bet they do. They do remember. They will remember you, they remember your name, and they take notes. And that networking, like I said, you have great opportunities with networking, but it can also hurt you. Because when you go to those career events, make sure you're there and act like you want to be there. Because they remember either way. Same goes for those career fairs. You know, they talk to each other. You know, anytime you have the opportunity to go to an event or volunteer, you know, volunteering your time is huge. Whether it's building your resume or building your network, that's a number one thing employers tell us over and over. When they're looking at resumes, they want to see students that have invested their time and have invested in their community. They would rather see that you have continually worked with 2 or 3 organizations, and there's many, many in the community. They can help you get plugged in with them, and so can I. That, you know, you never know who you're working side by side with. You know, my favorite example for networking for me is, you know, the Young Professionals Network is an area organization that's through our Chamber of Commerce. And I volunteer through it. They have a program called Gives Back, where we go out and do different events, and we did tornado cleanup and worked on stuff. And I laughed because after about 3 months on the job, I was meeting with some professionals from Leggett & Platt, And as we were meeting, I laughed because when we saw each other in person, we said, oh, I know you, we cleaned brush together. We already knew each other. We just didn't know what each other did, or really in that environment, it wasn't important. You know, the number one tip that I ever heard for networking, and I think is so great, is when you're networking and building your network, figure out what you can do for them. Think about how you can help them first and foremost. Because if you approach networking as, ooh, how can this person help me? It never works. Because they can tell. They know that you're just there to meet them, to, you know, try to rub elbows and see if they can do you a favor. But if you approach it as, how can I help you? How can I volunteer with your organization? How can I help you to get what you want to get accomplished? Then that builds that trust relationship. That builds that relationship where they get to see you in the real world, and they're gonna feel comfortable vouching for you, or they're gonna talk to other people. We hear employers say over and over, I never post a job. I never post my job openings. I ask the people around me if they know anybody looking for a job. And we hear that over and over. You know, and my job is to post jobs, but I still have employers that contact me and say, I don't want to post my job. I don't want it out there. I don't want to have to weed through them. I don't want to have to interview these people. I want you to tell me somebody that you know that can do this job that would be good. We hear it over and over. You know, Joplin Mattress Company was one of them, that they did the same thing. He searched all over and asked and asked and asked, and only after he didn't have any luck asking for referrals did he post the job. But, you know, I can tell you people, one of the executives for Freeman Hospital, that's what she told me. She said, I got my job through my network. She said, I've never applied for a job, and she's in a pretty high level position. She said, I have yet to apply for any of the jobs I've gotten since college. She said, every single time I've been approached for my position, because I work my butt off, I give my time to the community, and I give 100%. And she said, you know, it's amazing, and she's a very humble person. She says, every time I'm approached for a new position or a new opportunity, she said, I'm humbled and I'm amazed. But she's the type of person that people notice because she's working so hard and she's trying. And she's not trying because she's looking for that next opportunity. She's just there to give her 100% and work really hard. So that pays off. So that's the number one advice, is that everything you do, you're building your network, whether you realize it or not. You're building a network either in your favor or against your favor. So when you're at work, you're building your network. When you're at Walmart, you're building your network. Everywhere you go, you're building your network and you're building your brand with it. So always keep that in mind. It's a little scary when you think about it. But my favorite example lately was actually Dan Stanley, who's one of the investors here in town, that I heard it secondhand, that they said that they saw him at Home Depot one day and said he was literally shopping for lumber in his complete business suit. And they said, Dan, what are you doing? Why are you at Home Depot on a Saturday in your business suit? Why? He said, I have customers that I have never met in my life. He said, I have customers that invest their life savings with me. And he said, every morning when I get up and get dressed and go out of my house, I think, what if today's the day they meet me? If they met me, would they still want to invest their life savings with me? He said, I think that every single day. And he said, every morning my decision is, I might as well look professional. I might as well dress nice, because I don't want their impression to be of me in my raggy shorts and t-shirt, because they may not be so comfortable investing their money with me after that. I thought that was pretty cool when you think about it, because that's a lot of effort. I mean, there's days that none of us want to get up and put makeup on or get dressed up. But I thought, you know, when you think of it that way, it's kind of a big deal. That people trust me every day to help them get jobs. They trust me to help them build their resume and build their connections. So I think about that when I get up after I was told that. I thought, wow, there's some days they may not want me to trust them. They may not trust me to help them the way I look this morning. So I take that in consideration. So I thought, like I said, I think that was a pretty good nugget of advice. I encourage you to take advantage of this site for those of you that are undecided, and really for those of you that have picked a major for that matter also, because just because you have a major doesn't mean you have to go into one specific work field with that either. So make sure you're doing your homework with it and keep your options open. You know, I can't tell you how many people that I cringe when I talk to them that they'll say, well, I was to my senior year and I've changed my major 4 times now. It's like, just stick with one. Trust me, you can get a job. You know, so many of the employers, you know, they want to see that you've completed your degree, that you've completed the basic areas that they need. You know, employers, just because you have a specific major does not mean you are stuck in one peg for the rest of your life. My bachelor's degree is in ag business and my master's degree is in business management. So just because whatever your major is doesn't mean you have to be in that specific area forever. You know, my favorite is one of the executives with Leggett and Platt. She's over their talent acquisition, which is part of their human resources, that she actually comes from the education world. She's been a grade school teacher, she's been a principal, she's been a superintendent, and now she does talent acquisition for them. So, you know, that was one thing I thought was really cool from her, is that she said, you know, I wish more students knew that we are looking for talent, we're looking for perseverance, we are looking for leadership, we are looking for students that are eager to learn and willing to take on responsibility. And she said, honestly, we don't care what their major is. She said, we'll teach them what they need to learn. She said, we need them to have that degree, we need them to have learned the social skills, they need to learn those writing skills and learn those skills that they learned throughout that bachelor's degree. But for them, those specifics in that major are not deal breakers for them for most of their positions. So make sure you're getting, you know, that diverse opportunities with that. You know, check out everything with it. And take every opportunity you have to learn. I just encourage you to take it in every experience that you can. It's a leadership program that's in cooperation with the Chamber of Commerce that'll start the fall semester, that we're really excited about, that it'll meet twice a month on Friday afternoons, and we'll be helping you to just get connected with area employers. It'll be a huge networking opportunity. It's a leadership development program, and it's a great way to just check out area companies, because we know so many students, whether you're from the area or from far away, you know, a lot of times we don't know the great opportunities that are in our own backyard. How many of you knew Leggett & Platt was a Fortune 500 company? Not very many. And they have an entire infrastructure within them. You know, a lot of people think Leggett & Platt, they think, okay, they make mattress springs, I'm gonna be working on the line building those. But it's great opportunities there. They have everything from marketing to human resources, you name it. You know, Conway Trucking is another one that's a great example, that people think truck drivers. You know, and I laugh because every time I talk to a student about Conway Trucking, you know, I had one individual, she was communication, she had lots of different experience with writing and things like that. Just talking to Conway about that they needed some people they wanted some communication majors and some people with communication experience to work on some of their manuals, they had a whole project they needed. So telling this individual about it, telling her the whole spiel, and we get to the end and she says, "Ma'am, I don't mean any disrespect, but I don't want to be a truck driver." I thought, you didn't hear anything I said past Conway Trucking, did you? So make sure that, you know, you really are researching those companies, because a lot of times, you know, people have those 2 or 3 employers they have in their mind for their major. So make sure you're really expanding on that. Make sure you're checking out all those opportunities, because, you know, just about every large company, whether it's Freeman Hospital, you know, Freeman Hospital has an entire infrastructure within them also. So make sure you're checking out how your major and how your degree can fit in with those. And that goes the same for internships and part-time positions. Make sure you're getting plugged in as early as you possibly can. You know, Conway Trucking is a great example. We had a student, he contacted us, their HR director is an alumni from here, loves to support Missouri Southern students. He contacted us and said, I need somebody part-time. We're integrating from an in-house web email system over to Outlook. I need somebody to work part-time to get that switched over. So we got him a student went to work for him, loved it, absolutely loved his job, loved working with him. They promoted him to full-time, he's called back and they're hiring another part-time student. So it's a great way that, you know, to get plugged in, and chances are he'll have a long career there if he wants to have one. So just, you know, don't overlook those opportunities, because those small opportunities can turn into really big deals and can really lead you on your life's path for it. So that's pretty much it for me.